The day before my engagement back home, I unexpectedly discovered that my boyfriend of 5 years was supporting a woman who bore a striking resemblance to me. They had been intimately involved during my time abroad. When I called him, he merely sighed softly. "She was there for me while you were away. One can't be too heartless. The company needs a secretary anyway, so why not let her keep the position for now? It'll prevent people from calling you petty." Our 5-year passionate romance ultimately lost to the mistress's constant presence. Looking at the man who once swore solemn promises to love me forever, I wondered, one was a medical genius returning from overseas studies, the other an illicit mistress. Who would he choose? Halfway through the engagement party the next day, the engagement ring was nowhere to be found. The MC was sweating profusely from anxiety, repeatedly trying to warm up the crowd with chatter. Jackson came over and took my hand, whispering in my ear, "It's just a 10-carat diamond ring." Chelsea was curious and tried it on, and it got stuck. "I'll personally design an even bigger and more beautiful one for you tomorrow." My heart sank. Just last night, he had video called me, swearing solemn promises. "I've already spent a fortune preparing a surprise for you. Tomorrow, you just focus on being the happiest bride in the world." My fists clenched, trembling slightly, as I stared at him defiantly. "Jackson, is this the surprise you prepared for me? No engagement ring. What kind of engagement is this?" Before I could finish, Jackson's assistant came running. "Mr. Jackson, MS. Chelsea has submitted her resignation, saying she's returning to her hometown." Jackson abruptly pushed me aside and started to rush out. I reached out and grabbed his sleeve. "Jackson, if you go after her today, our relationship is over." Jackson looked back at me, but quickly pulled his sleeve forcefully from my grasp, turning his back and striding away without a word. The guests exchanged glances, whispering among themselves. Jackson's parents were frantic. Mom hugged me, comforting me. "You are the only daughter-in-law for the Thompson family. I will make sure Jackson gives you an explanation." But my heart slowly turned cold. "I will return the monetary gifts to everyone. Consider this meal today a celebration of my newfound freedom." Caleb, my elder brother, came over, his face stern, intending to confront Jackson. "Jackson dared to abandon my sister at the engagement party to chase another woman? He has no respect for the Vance family." I quickly stopped Caleb, suppressing my grief, pretending not to care. "Caleb, let it go. I don't want so many people watching this spectacle." Caleb sighed heavily, and my heart sank deeper. Jackson's assistant awkwardly approached me. "MS. Aurora, please don't blame Mr. Jackson. You were gone for 3 years. If Chelsea hadn't been by Mr. Jackson side, how would he have managed? She left without a word, and Mr. Jackson is just afraid she might do something rash." It seemed they all believed Chelsea had been devoted to Jackson for the past 3 years, and my return had upset that balance. But if she truly expected no reward, why would she resign on the day of the engagement party? Unwilling to argue with him, I said goodbye to Caleb and went home. That afternoon, Jackson sent many gifts: luxury cars, mansions, designer bags, and the rare medical texts I had been searching for ages. I merely glanced at them and told someone to throw them out. Jackson knew that leaving me in front of so many people today would ruin my reputation, but he didn't spare a single thought for me. He wanted the best of both worlds, but only I was getting hurt. With my old temperament, I wouldn't have humiliated him, but he pushed it too far, putting the engagement ring on another woman's hand. Some things, once tainted, truly cannot be kept. Remembering that the gown I ordered before returning home should be ready, I went alone to the private atelier. As I entered the courtyard, I saw Jackson holding my custom-designed gown, fitting it against Chelsea. My eyes widened in shock. This gown was personally designed by Jackson, intended for me to wear at Grandpa's birthday banquet. At the time, he smiled as brightly as a flower. "Grandpa will be especially happy to see me marry you. Only my beloved is worthy of wearing a gown designed by Jackson." Yet now, he was giving this gown to Chelsea. I stood in the courtyard, unsure whether to go in. Jackson heard the sound and looked over, quickly coming outside. "Aurora, I didn't mean to leave you alone there. I just know you're worldly and experienced, and you can certainly handle a small situation like that." I didn't answer him, turning to look at Chelsea. "MS. Chelsea, it's good to see you're all right." Jackson looked at me, momentarily stunned, then said earnestly, "You grew up without parents and can handle everything so well. Unlike Chelsea, if I don't go after her, she'll get herself lost. I love you so much." I'd give my life for you. You'll forgive me, won't you? I won't. So, my growing up without parents had become a reason for me to make allowances for them. My gaze fell on the gown Chelsea was holding. The gown you personally designed, wasn't it for the woman you love most? What do you have left to love me with? Jackson's gaze flickered, and he quickly explained. Aurora, you are the wife I, Jackson, intend to marry. Chelsea has, after all, been with me for 3 years. I just wanted to compensate her for some things. I no longer wanted to see his hypocritical face. I turned and instructed the atelier manager. The gown has been worn. I don't want it. The deposit plus the penalty fee, totaling $800,000. Send it all to the Vance family. With that, I turned to leave. Ms. Aurora, are you angry with Mr. Jackson because of me? A sob suddenly sounded behind me. It's all my fault. I was just worried Ms. Aurora would hear some gossip and rumors after returning, so I thought of resigning and leaving. I never expected Mr. Jackson to interrupt the engagement party to chase me to the airport. If Aurora is angry, please scold me, but don't let Mr. Jackson be caught in the middle. Chelsea spoke with such heartfelt sincerity that a moved Jackson pulled her into a tight embrace to comfort her. My decision has nothing to do with you. Why are you apologizing to her? After a soft murmur of comfort, he looked up at me, his eyes full of disappointment. Aurora, you've always been independent and disregarded societal norms since you were little. Don't you know that because of our situation, Chelsea has suffered too much gossip and slander? How can you blame her for my leaving? I couldn't take it anymore. I turned to look at the two tightly embracing figures. Jackson, from the moment I stepped into this courtyard, have I said a single negative word about Chelsea? My being an orphan since childhood, is that your excuse? My voice trembled slightly, and Jackson immediately panicked. My face was grim, and my voice suddenly rose. Mr. Jackson, do you think I, Aurora, cannot marry anyone but you? Or do you think a daughter of the Vance family is so easily bullied? It was the first time Jackson had seen me angry, and for a moment, he didn't know what to do. Aurora, he cautiously watched my expression. Leaving the engagement party was wrong of me, but I was confused by my concern. You're just angry that I gave the engagement ring to Chelsea. I'll go to the black market tonight and buy the British's wedding ring to give to you. The Queen's wedding ring? I was amused by his self-importance. Jackson, it seems you have no idea why I'm truly angry. Jackson looked at me in silence, finally speaking after a long pause. I can't give Chelsea a proper status. She just wanted a ring. Is such a simple request something I can't even fulfill for her? You and I are going to live together in the future. For our future's sake, please don't dwell on this, okay? My gaze shifted from the gown on Chelsea to Jackson's hand protectively holding hers. I responded faintly, it has nothing to do with me. I won't concern myself with you anymore. With that, I turned and quickly walked away. As I arrived at my doorstep, Chelsea was directing people to move things into the mansion next door. When she saw me, the smile on her face was too lazy to even feign. Mr. Jackson said my current place isn't safe, so he gave me this mansion. Ms. Aurora isn't married to Mr. Jackson yet. Mr. Jackson's prenuptial assets aren't Ms. Aurora's concern, are they? I was too lazy to deal with her and was about to enter my own home, but my gaze was suddenly drawn to the blood-red pendant around her neck. Chelsea noticed my gaze. She smugly tucked her hair behind her ear, fully exposing the pendant. I wasn't sleeping well a few days ago, so Mr. Jackson gave me this pendant. I heard this is the pendant Ms. Aurora was wearing during her car accident, and it's still stained with your mother's blood. Honestly, items from the deceased are said to ward off evil spirits. I've been sleeping so soundly now. My palm struck Chelsea's face with force, cutting her words short. Seizing her stunned moment, I reached for the pendant, but Chelsea, with even greater speed, smashed the pendant fiercely to the ground. The pendant shattered into pieces on the floor, and my heart also fragmented beyond repair. I trembled as I picked up the jade fragments from the ground, not even noticing my fingers bleeding from the cuts. Aurora! Jackson ran towards me, tenderly putting my cut finger in his mouth and shouting for the family doctor. Chelsea's eyes were red from crying, and she sobbed softly. Ms. Aurora will never forgive me. Selling myself wouldn't be enough to compensate Ms. Aurora for one pendant now. Jackson's body stiffened. He quickly released my hand, pulled Chelsea closer, and comforted her in a low voice. Don't always take all the blame upon yourself. Then he looked at me, Aurora, it's just a pendant. I'll find you a bigger, better one. Just stop fixating on Chelsea. I froze at his words, looking up at Jackson. Jackson, you know what that pendant means to me. How could you? MS. Aurora, will you only believe I truly don't want to steal Mr. Jackson from you if I die? Chelsea's scream immediately pierced the air. Since Aurora is relentlessly pressuring me, I'll die right here for you to see. Jackson gasped in alarm. Aurora, are you even human? Are you really going to force a living person to die over an item from the deceased? Before his words fully landed, I raised my hand and slapped him twice fiercely before quickly leaving, not wanting to see the two of them ever again. Soon, it was Grandpa's birthday banquet. I had wanted to decline, but remembering the ongoing business dealings between our families, I reluctantly agreed to attend the party with him. As usual, when I opened the passenger seat door, Chelsea was already sitting there, eating cookies. I abruptly looked up at Jackson, and a flicker of apology crossed his face. Chelsea hasn't attended a banquet like this before. I'm taking her to broaden her horizons. In the future, when you're busy with work and can't attend, she can be my escort. It's your family's banquet. You're free to invite anyone you wish. I swallowed the bitterness in my throat. A smile lit up his face. I knew Aurora was the most sensible. If asks, would you mind saying she came with you? I took a deep breath. Jackson, we have no connection anymore. I have no obligation to help you deceive Grandpa. Jackson was displeased. Aurora, there's a limit to how far you can take a tantrum. I met Jackson's displeased gaze, my heart now numb, feeling not a ripple of emotion. From the moment you left the engagement party, we were over. Then I looked at Chelsea, who hadn't even had time to hide the smug delight in her eyes. Congratulations, MS. Chelsea, now, Jackson is all yours. Aurora! Jackson's face changed dramatically. Are you serious? Jackson, I suddenly raised my voice. You betrayed me first. Amidst our argument, a black Maybach pulled up beside me. MS. Aurora, get in. A cool voice, carrying undeniable authority. I turned and got in without hesitation. You just broke up with Mr. Jackson, and you already accepted my proposal? Does that mean you've had a crush on me, senior? I gave Leo, who had leaned in close, a helpless look. He was the son of Mom's best friend, and I'd heard he was already the designated heir of the Xie family. A thought suddenly crossed my mind. I had originally only intended to use him as a means to definitively end things with Jackson, but now, it seemed marrying him might be a good option. The moment Leo and I appeared, we became the focus of the entire banquet. After all, I had just had that huge scene with Jackson, and now I was standing with Leo, who was currently the talk of the town. Everyone in our circle knew each other, so they inevitably gathered, whispering and speculating, but was not one to be easily managed. She approached me, and suddenly her wineglass dropped to the floor, and she dramatically fell down herself. MS. Aurora! Chelsea shrieked. I know, MS. Aurora has misunderstood my relationship with Mr. Jackson. I beg you, please let me go. I promise I will never appear before Mr. Jackson again. Chelsea's scream drew numerous curious glances. Everyone pointed and whispered. They say Chelsea is Aurora's stand-in, but Chelsea's clothes look much better than Aurora's. Isn't that the engagement ring Jackson prepared for the engagement party just a few days ago on Aurora's hand? Aurora is so pathetic. She comes back for an engagement, and then the ring is given to someone else. These whispers reached Grandpa's ears, making his face turn pale with anger. Jackson quickly pulled Chelsea over. Grandpa, she's just a secretary at my company. There's absolutely nothing improper between us. Jackson, don't forget what you promised me when you first joined the company. Grandpa's gaze shifted to me. I quickly went to steady him. Grandpa, please take care of yourself. Nothing else matters. Aurora, your parents had that car accident trying to pick up your aunt and uncle for me. Our family is responsible for you and your brother growing up as orphans. How can I watch Jackson bully you again? Grandpa's voice was desolate, but I also detected the helplessness in his words. Before I could respond, Chelsea began to cry. I know I'm a poor university student from the mountains and unworthy of the esteemed Mr. Jackson, but I just love him. Is it wrong to love someone? Chelsea screamed hysterically. I said I don't want status. I just want to stay at Thompson. Now that MS. Aurora is back. Is it not enough to snatch away the man I love? Must you also destroy the job I worked so hard for? The scene fell silent. Grandpa's hand trembled as he pointed a shaky finger at Jackson. You brought such a vulgar person here? Are you trying to anger me to death? Uncle also rushed over, enraged, and slapped Jackson. Think carefully. Either apologize to Aurora, or take this mistress and get out of the Thompson family. Jackson, having been slapped, was even more humiliated. He turned, unleashing all his anger on me. Aurora, are you satisfied? You've been leveraging your parents' kindness against our family for years. Are you proud of yourself? I already told you I would ultimately marry you. Why are you so aggressive? Aren't you afraid I'll truly abandon you? Jackson's words exploded in my ears like a thunderclap. So, this was how he had thought of me all these years. You said you'd take care of me my whole life. But now, I don't want you. I pulled out the Thompson family heirloom bracelet that Grandpa had given me from my bag. Grandpa, I'm here today to break off the engagement, and while I'm at it, to reclaim the 51% of Thompson shares that belong to my parents. Everyone gasped in surprise. Then, chaos erupted. Did I hear that right? 51% of Thompson's shares belong to the Vance family? Wait. Let me get this straight. So, should it be called Thompson or Vance? No wonder the Thompson family hasn't produced any capable leaders since the old man. The family should have declined long ago. The only reason it's lasted this long is because of the Vance family's backing. All the murmurs and discussions reached Grandpa's ears. His eyes widened in disbelief as he looked at me. Aurora, what kind of joke are you playing? The family heirloom bracelet has been given to you. Everything of the Thompson family will be yours from now on. Why are you talking about shares? I keenly sensed a fleeting murderous glint in Grandpa's eyes. But these things, to me, truly meant nothing. Since my parents' deaths, I had faced one danger after another. I smiled, offering the jade bracelet forward, my attitude still firm. Mr. Jackson just said he doesn't want me to bind his life with kindness. I feel that's unfair to him as well. Besides, I don't necessarily need him. Just as I finished speaking, Leo hurried down from the second floor. He anxiously pulled me to him, looking me up and down 3 times before pulling me behind him. Aurora is right. She doesn't only have Jackson as an option. Grandpa, quickly take back your precious bracelet. I've been eager to propose to MS Aurora for a long time. Leo had always been a playboy. Everyone in the circle considered him a good-for-nothing fostered by the Sia family. Only I knew that he had started his own business in college, and the tech company he founded with a few classmates had already become a top player in the national industry. Right after graduation, he signed a betting agreement with his illegitimate elder brother, directly kicking his brother off the company's board of directors. Now that he appeared, although he seemed frivolous on the surface, no one dared to truly treat him as a joking junior. Grandpa said sternly, "Young man from the Sia family, every time you caused trouble when you were little, wasn't it I who protected you? Why are you joking at my birthday banquet today?" Leo, however, remained cheerful. "Grandpa, you're getting old. You should enjoy your retirement. Don't worry about trivial things at your age." Then he suddenly covered his mouth. "Or are you saying you don't have the good fortune to enjoy it like my grandfather, and these unfilial descendants just keep giving you trouble?" Leo's 2 sentences made everyone in the Thompson family change color with anger. I couldn't help but tug his sleeve, telling him not to offend people too much. Jackson, watching our small gestures, trembled with rage. "Aurora, no wonder. So, you've been having an affair with Leo all along. You're just using Chelsea's situation as an excuse to break off our engagement." I hadn't expected Jackson to be so adept at twisting the facts. Just as I was about to speak, a suppressed gasp echoed from the projector in the banquet hall. Immediately after, 2 naked figures appeared on the projector screen. When I clearly saw that the people in the video were Jackson and Chelsea, who had just claimed to be absolutely innocent, I found that my heart was utterly calm. Jackson shouted, ordering people to stop the playback immediately. But no matter how anxious they were, the projector continued to show videos of the 2 in intimate moments at different times and locations. Uncle, frantic, pulled out the power cord, and the hall plunged into darkness. But the projector continued to play. I looked at Leo in surprise. He leaned down and whispered in my ear, "My newly developed machine has a battery life of 72 hours. Seeing the barely concealed triumph in his eyes, I even let out a soft laugh. The sounds of passion from the projector in the hall continued, and some people even started openly commenting on Jackson and Chelsea's positions. Only when Grandpa was nearly unconscious with rage did Leo gently press the power off button. Jackson knelt before Grandpa, weeping. "Grandpa, I was just momentarily infatuated and lost my self-control. which led to this mistake. But in this circle, who doesn't have a few women? You can't just refuse to forgive me for such a small mistake. Grandpa's face turned pale with anger. He picked up his cane and began striking Jackson. You should be apologizing to Aurora, not me. Beg properly, and ask for her forgiveness. Jackson dared not dodge. Enduring more than 10 blows from the cane, he scrambled to his feet and rushed to me, crying uncontrollably, Aurora, I was wrong. Will you please forgive me this one time? I'll fire Chelsea immediately and make sure she never appears before you again. All right? I looked at him, and suddenly understood why. All these years, he had seemed to love me so much, yet I never felt such strong feelings for him. It turned out all his affection was fake. I didn't answer him, instead turning my gaze to Chelsea, who was glaring at me hatefully from the corner. Seeing me look at her, Chelsea abruptly lifted her head, her eyes scarlet. She met my gaze. You think you won? You're just relying on the Vance family's backing. I just crooked my finger, and Jackson still eagerly ran to my bed. She suddenly burst into hysterical laughter, until tears streamed down her face. Do you know what Mr. Jackson says about you? He said he's never seen a woman as pretentious as you, not even allowing him to kiss you. What good are you to him? Jackson hadn't expected Chelsea to suddenly lose control. He quickly had people pull her away. He lunged at me again, but Leo kicked him away. Didn't I say that Aurora is my woman now? Leo's face was grim. If you didn't hear clearly, I'll say it again, she is my woman now. If you dare lay a hand on her, I'll make the Thompson family disappear in minutes. Many people present, including Grandpa, were startled by Leo. Though the Thompson family was not as powerful as the Sia or Vance families, it was still considered one of Seaside City's established old families. Now, it was being threatened by a young man like Leo. Grandpa's face immediately fell. Leo, I've overlooked your behavior out of respect for your grandfather, but you've repeatedly caused trouble at my birthday banquet. My family is not to be trifled with. No matter how rich the Sia family is, they wouldn't go head-to-head with my Thompson family for a mere youngster like you. I gently tugged Leo's arm. Don't be rash. My brother texted. He'll be flying back in 20 minutes. Caleb had originally planned to attend Grandpa's birthday banquet with me, but something came up with an international project, and he had rushed to the international branch office last night. After handling it, he immediately rushed back without rest. Leo patted my hand. 20 minutes is enough to give your brother a surprise. Then he looked at Grandpa. Grandpa, I originally came here today to sincerely wish you a happy birthday, but your grandson is not a decent person. With that, he gently pressed a switch in his hand, and an investment contract appeared on the projector. Jackson's face turned ashen. He immediately rushed forward to snatch the switch from Leo, but was prepared. With a flick of his hand, several bodyguards came up and restrained Jackson. Leo looked at the astonished expressions of the crowd, an involuntary smile curving his lips. This is an investment contract. Jackson embezzled public funds to invest in his beloved mess, Chelsea's new company. As he spoke, the contract pages were displayed before everyone. Grandpa finished reading with a grim face, his veins bulging with anger. Jackson, you good for nothing. Investing so much money into a shell company? Are you trying to bankrupt the Thompson family? Jackson tried to argue, but Leo immediately displayed another contract. Seeing this contract, Jackson collapsed to the ground. Grandpa probably doesn't know yet, but if the goods required by this contract aren't delivered today, not only will Thompson go bankrupt, but even all the Thompson family's properties and futures won't be enough to plug this hole. He paused, and Grandpa, puzzled, urged, then deliver the goods. Surely my Thompson family can deliver the goods? Leo's smile vanished. He pointed casually at Jackson on the ground. You'll have to ask your precious grandson about that. Jackson's eyes were wide and glazed. He quickly pulled out his phone to call his assistant, but the assistant's phone kept showing as unreachable. Jackson, ignoring his disheveled state, fell at Leo's feet. Leo, tell me what's going on. Don't tell me you don't know. Since you got such detailed contracts, you must know what happened. Leo looked at him expressionlessly, and after a moment, he uttered a few words. Can you still reach your MS, Chelsea? As soon as Leo's words fell, Jackson's hands trembled as he dialed Chelsea's number. Like with the assistant, only the cold automated message, "The number you have dialed is temporarily unavailable," played. His phone clattered to the ground. It also landed heavily on everyone's hearts. People around had varied expressions. Those closely connected to the Thompson family quickly called to inquire about the situation. Those who usually opposed the Thompson family secretly celebrated the downfall of the Thompson family in their minds. Grandpa quickly realized the situation. This time, he was genuinely asking Leo for help. Young man from the Xie family. Grandpa tried to compose himself. No wonder your old man, your grandfather, was confident enough to hand over such a vast enterprise to a youngster like you. I admit defeat this time. Grandpa, tell me, what exactly is going on? I was also eager to know the truth. Staring at Leo without blinking, Leo smiled at me, then looked at Grandpa, his face full of sympathy. Your grandson was framed. Chelsea and the assistant are a couple. They conspired to seize your Thompson family's assets. They used a shell company to siphon off funds. The subsequent orders were never shipped. They merely bought some samples from the market, but was so blinded by passion in bed that he approved the payments without even looking. The family. Now, it's over. After finished speaking, Grandpa fell straight to the ground. After a moment of chaos, Grandpa, having been revived, apologized to everyone. We need to handle some family matters. Please head home, everyone. We will certainly offer generous gifts and apologies another day. Though reluctant, people couldn't linger just to watch the spectacle. I also turned to leave, but Grandpa's voice stopped me. Aurora and young man from the Xie family, please stay and keep this old man company. We exchanged glances and stayed. Once everyone had left, Grandpa roared, Jackson. Kneel! Jackson was already trembling. Hearing William's angry shout, his legs buckled, and he fell to his knees. Grandpa, save me. Don't beg me. You should beg Aurora and the young man from the Xie family. Jackson gritted his teeth, but he knew this was not the time to be stubborn. He crawled over and knelt before me, his eyes filled with genuine remorse. Leo let out a soft laugh. Saving the Thompson family isn't impossible. As soon as he finished speaking, Grandpa's eyes lit up. How so? Although signed the contracts with them, he can still invalidate them on the grounds of fraud. Furthermore, the payments he made for those goods can also be recovered by reporting it to the police. But it depends on how much they've transferred. So quick action is essential. Jackson immediately called the police after hearing this. Leo continued, though the Thompson family doesn't have that batch of goods, my Xie family does. Then he stopped speaking, refusing to elaborate further. Grandpa gritted his teeth and promised, whatever you want, anything our family has, I will agree to it. I want your family to agree to break off the engagement with Aurora and return her family's shares in full. My heart skipped a beat. I hadn't expected Leo to do all this just to help me. Tears blurred my vision, but I dared not look up at him. A pair of warm, dry hands covered my face, gently wiping away my tears. I told you I'd protect you when I grew up. Do you believe me now? At that moment, my heart pounded. Grandpa froze, instinctively wanting to argue, but seeing Leo's face instantly turn serious, he ultimately swallowed his rebuttal. I had originally thought that since Aurora lost her parents, if she married Jackson, the entire Thompson family would eventually be hers. Since was not up to par and did something unforgivable to Aurora, I have no face to ask Aurora to forgive him. Their relationship ends here. No one shall ever trouble Aurora with this matter again. After William finished speaking, Leo's expression softened slightly. The shares. Grandpa sighed softly. The family was built up with the Vance family's support to begin with. Returning 51% of the shares is only right and proper. Furthermore, Aurora and her brother became orphans at such a young age because of me. I will also take out an additional 10% of shares to compensate the siblings. As William finished, Uncle's face stiffened, and he blurted out, Dad, no! If we give them all the money, what will we eat and drink? The smile that had just appeared on Leo's face vanished instantly. Grandpa slammed his cane on the ground. Silence. When the Thompson family was in trouble, everyone avoided us. If's father hadn't stepped forward, there would be no Thompson family today. Grandpa affectionately took my hand. Aurora, Grandpa truly wants to compensate you. When do you have time for us to transfer the shares? I silently withdrew my hand, saying calmly, all right. Grandpa quietly breathed a sigh of relief. Leo and I exchanged glances. He smugly raised an eyebrow, his eyes sparkling. The family's lawyer quickly drafted the contract, and the lawyer I called arrived promptly. My lawyer reviewed the contract and nodded slightly at me. As soon as we signed the share transfer agreement, Caleb rushed back. Aurora, have you been bullied? Caleb saw my red eyes and immediately rushed to my side. I waved the share transfer agreement in my hand, signaling Caleb to relax. The moment we left, the the Thompson family descended into chaos. Jackson was personally whipped more than a dozen times by Grandpa, without even applying medicine. He forced himself to the police station to understand the situation. As for Chelsea, things were no better for her. In the video sent back by Leo's arranged people, Chelsea was bound hand and foot and thrown into an abandoned warehouse. 4 or 5 homeless men surrounded her, drooling. Chelsea was terrified but still tried to put on a brave front. "I have money. Plenty of money. Aren't you just after money? Tell me how much you want, and I'll have my boyfriend bring it to you." She trembled, barely managing to complete her sentence. But the homeless men exchanged glances and burst into laughter. "Your boyfriend? Who's your boyfriend? Mr. Jackson, or his assistant, Daniel?" Chelsea froze, her mouth speaking before her brain could process. "What? Jackson? That pathetic loser? He's not even worth my time. My boyfriend is Daniel, a Metropolitan University top student, the future Mr. Williams, chairman of the board." The men laughed even louder. One of them laughed so hard he couldn't stand straight. "The future Mr. Williams, chairman of the board? Who do you think arranged for us to tie you up? To tell you the truth, it was the very person you call the future Mr. Williams, chairman of the board." Chelsea couldn't believe it. Just yesterday, Daniel had sworn solemn promises to marry her. "Chelsea, you know, every time I arranged a date for you with that Jackson, I wanted to kill him. You're so charming, yet you have to flatter that pathetic loser for our future. Just thinking about it breaks my heart. But luckily, it's the last day. After tomorrow, once Jackson signs the transfer slip, we'll leave immediately. Then I'll be chairman, and you'll be my lady. See who dares to look down on us then." She hadn't expected any of this to be fake. She shook her head, muttering, "No, this isn't real. Daniel wouldn't lie to me. He said he would take me abroad, and we'd start a company together and enjoy our good fortune together. Ha 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 ha." The homeless man revealed his stained yellow teeth and bore down on Chelsea. "Whether you'll find happiness with him, I don't know, but I can show you what a real man is. Let me teach you a good lesson right now. Not to be outdone." The men started stripping and pulling down pants, quickly overwhelming Chelsea. It wasn't until the last man lay exhausted on the ground that Chelsea noticed the camera set up not far away. The intimate moments they had just shared, one after another, had been clearly captured by the camera. The leader of the homeless men pulled out the memory card, a look of satisfaction on his face as he crouched before her. "No wonder Jackson couldn't tear himself away from your bed. Your skills are really something. We've got your video, girl. If we miss you later, and you dare not show up, we might accidentally send your video to your family." Chelsea was covered in bruises. She watched the men leave, pain contorting her face, her nails digging bloody trails into the ground. The next day, a woman completely wrapped up arrived at the police station. From her bag, she pulled out a ledger. It meticulously detailed every sum of money Daniel had swindled from Jackson. "Daniel definitely hasn't left Seaside City. I know exactly where he is." Chelsea's eyes blazed with fury. The police exchanged glances, waiting quietly for Chelsea to continue. "I'll help you catch him, but can you help me find those animals and make them hand over the video? I'd rather die than have my parents find out what I did." Her voice grew softer and softer, until she finally collapsed onto the table, sobbing. Chelsea was the first university student to come out of their mountain village in decades. Who would have thought she'd be ruined like this? I overheard a police officer muttering softly, "Is it a pity? I'm used to myself. If the money she transferred away isn't recovered, do you know how many families will be laid off because of the Thompsons' bankruptcy? Among them, some people's girlfriends will break up with them. Others won't be able to pay their mortgages because they lost their jobs. And some might not earn enough money for their children's tutoring, ultimately leading their kids to fail to get into college." The officer choked on my words but soon offered a knowing smile. "Ms. Aurora is right. Everyone should pay the price for their choices. The law is the most impartial. It shouldn't judge how much someone should bear based on their background." I just smiled, saying nothing. Back home, Leo was already waiting for me. "Aurora, look what I found for you." Caleb rolled up the document in his hand and gently tapped Leo on the head. "Disrespectful. Who gave you permission to call her Aurora?" Leo tumbled off the sofa and, with a few long strides, was in front of me. The car accident 12 years ago was no accident at all. My heart plummeted instantly. Years of suspicion were confirmed in that moment, and the answer I'd harbored screamed to break free. I turned to Caleb, who nodded gently, his eyes instantly reddening, my hands trembling. I took the evidence Leo offered. Sure enough, 12 years ago, the car accident wasn't caused by me insisting on seeing Jackson earlier. Instead, someone had bribed a truck driver to deliberately crash into our car. The enormous weight that had pressed on my heart for so many years suddenly lifted. Yet I found myself plunged into deep thought. Grandpa had hidden it too well. If not for the fleeting glint of calculation in his eyes and the murderous intent that flashed on his birthday, I never would have suspected that Grandpa, who had always doted on Caleb and me and often apologized to us, was a cold-blooded murderer. What do you want to do? Leo asked me. I paused, then spoke each word distinctly. A life for a life. A debt for a debt. It's time to settle this score properly. Before we could go after him, Grandpa actually sent people to find Caleb and me. He proposed to buy our Thompson shares at market price. I chuckled inwardly. He truly was a cunning old schemer. First, he'd exploit our soft-heartedness, letting Leo help the Thompson weather the crisis, then turn around and acquire our shares. What's more, it wasn't a cash acquisition. He was giving us an IOU. How could one be so shameless? Leo paced in circles, fuming. No wonder they say bad people just get older, not better. Feeling dizzy from his pacing, I pulled him to a stop. The group is his life's work, and Jackson is his other life's work. Now that Jackson is ruined, he should pay for his other life's work too. As I said this, Leo showed no fear. Instead, his eyes shone with an almost obsessive admiration. The next day, we arrived at the Thompsons' top-floor conference room as arranged. But just as we were about to sign the share transfer agreement, representatives of various shareholders burst into the conference room. They demanded that the Thompson family be removed from the board. Grandpa was enraged on the spot, but I calmly flung the car accident evidence I had collected onto his face. Grandpa, you're getting old. It's time you enjoyed a quiet life of leisure. No sooner had I spoken than a group of police officers entered and escorted the entire Thompson family away. I was the last to leave, following the police. In the sprawling top-floor office, only Leo remained. He held a vibrant bouquet of red roses and slowly walked towards me. Aurora, marry me. 2 years later, we had a grand wedding. Following suggestion, I didn't take over my family's hospital but instead passed the exams to become a surgeon at Metropolitan University Hospital. Every day is busy, yet every day is filled with joy. Look, Leo is here again, bringing me lunch with our Sophia in his arms. For the rest of my life, I deserve the very best love. Thank you for watching this video. If you have any thoughts about this story, feel free to share them in the comments section. Here is Roses and Love, sharing stories about marriage and women every day. See you tomorrow.